What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters Allstar video. And in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the latest in-game event updates with the False Resurrection Chris Roulette, as well as the newest World Drop event. We're also going to be giving you guys some tips on how you can properly grind this World Drop event so you can get as much value out of it as humanly possible. But before we do all that, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe. So as you can see here, this is going to be the False Resurrection Chris Roulette wheel. We already had seen this yesterday, so not a whole lot to talk about there, but let's talk about the kit. So this is going to be False Resurrection Chris. He is a blue defensive type unit that increases damage dealt to red element fighters by 60% and decreases damage received by 20%. So overall, the leadership skill, not anything too special. In fact, it's actually pretty bad. It's terrible. But the actual typing is not bad. That's actually pretty decent for Reviving Hell's Dungeon, but really it comes down to whether this kit's good. So let's take a look at the cores. So starting off here, you can see we have a 12% strike skill attack damage increase, 192 penetration increase to defense. We finally get some power gain there with a 15% power charge. We have some increases to our darkness attack damage because this character does have darkness, but on his exclusive cores he does have Fate of Flame, which increases active skill damage dealt to enemies affected by darkness by 40%, and finally Power of Orochi. He gains 30% power during a 10 or more combo on a cooldown of 18 seconds. Yeah, basically you guys, these cores aren't anything too special. He does have quite a bit of power gain, but overall there's really not a whole lot here that's that great. It's nice that he is going to be able to increase his damage dealt and increase his overall damage with his darkness, but when we look at the skills, it's just not anything that is going to stand out. So on the S1, he increases attack by 43% of defense for 8 seconds when using a skill, and decreases damage received by 70% for 4 seconds. Not too bad, but still, you would like to see more. The S2, he applies darkness equal to 35% of attack every 1 second for 7 seconds to the target upon landing a skill. And then on the S3, which is his best skill, he has super armor for 3 seconds with a 100% chance to reset his cooldowns, and it is an interrupt. So overall, this character, as you can tell, is kind of a diet fest. There's really not a whole lot here that is that special. Honestly, I think that the best thing about him is going to be the striker ability here, which applies darkness equal to 27% of attack every 1 second for 7 seconds to the target. But overall, he's going to be nice as a budget darkness user for people out there who lack darkness characters, specifically possibly for maybe expert guild raid. But even then, I think he's probably going to end up being a striker more often than not in that mode. I really just don't see a whole lot to like here. It's not that it's necessarily inherently terrible, it's just that it's really sparse, and I'm not really seeing a lot of the hallmarks of characters that are going to normally be giving you a lot of value in PvE specifically. But we'll take a look at the skill preview here. Now this is going to be the S1, and all of his skills are fairly slow. That's another problem with this character that you're going to notice, is none of these skills are going to be anything that's going to be super quick. I would assume that these are going to have at least decent XY axis, but even then I'm really not seeing a whole lot to be that excited for. And even when we talk about the new card, which is a 5 PG, it really isn't going to be anything that is all that special. So in the end, guys, I really don't think this is a character you need to worry about building up to max. I think that this is probably going to offer you more value in maybe exchanging those souls for maybe some tokens, or getting the memories so that you can go ahead at least and get those and maybe use those in the future for something else. But you will get credit towards your Honoka event as well for the carnival, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But overall, I'm not all that excited about it. But let's take a look at the World Drop event, because this I am excited about. So as you can see here, these are going to be the items that we can get from these World Drop boxes, and we're going to talk about how we can get the coins for these boxes momentarily and how to grind these. But this is actually really good value. I would highly recommend that you guys try to grind this event as much as humanly possible. As you can see here, the biggest gets here are going to be the rubies, as well as those rare enhancement hammers. There's also going to be some uncommon hammers and some plus capsule mystery boxes in there. You can get some more tickets for the roulette for False Resurrection Chris, but really obviously the big value there is going to be those rubies and rare enhancement hammers. I don't think that any of us could ever have too many of either of those things. So this is actually really good too, because the way that they did this time around, and we're about to talk about, is going to be they use coins for these boxes to craft these instead of having to farm those tiles that are going to be the KoF, A, and S tiles. That is the way that these world drop events used to be for people who haven't been here before. So this is actually going to be something that's a lot easier to grind on. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a few tips, and we're going to go ahead and look at these coins and how to obtain them. So real quick here, if you guys are unaware, if you go down here and look at those little fireballs, these, if you tap on them, will show you where you can pick up these coins. So as you can see here, you can also get some increased XP gains right now from Epic Quest, which is a big deal, especially because right now for every 5 levels you get 500 rubies. I don't know if that's that way for people who are low level, but I know for those of us who were at the cap, which was level 400, it is. But I want to go ahead, the first thing I want to take a look at here is going to be story mode, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the Nest Saga, and then we're going to go ahead and go into the 2001 expert difficulty, and we're going to go over here to this particular story chapter, and I want to go ahead and show you guys a few things. So first up here, let's go ahead and do some auto clears, just so that way I can show you guys how many coins you get for this. So you're going to get 1 to 2 coins, and you do get them on a random drop rate, so you're not going to get them every run, but you're going to get 1 to 2 coins for doing this particular mode and chapter. Now the reason why I'm showing this to you guys is because of what I'm about to do here. So if we go in here and we'll just do auto battle, I want to show you guys how fast you can get through this. And the reason why is because for those of you who are unaware, if you want to make sure that you're grinding as best you can on this, my recommendation is always to try and do an overnight grind on this type of mode. And the reason why I picked this particular chapter, and you're about to see if we go to a higher difficulty, you're going to get the same amount of coins, which is why I picked this one. But this one's extremely quick to get through. So it's going to be one of those situations where if you set up overnight and you get a bunch of AP built up and you do 99 runs overnight and just leave your phone on sleep, then you'll go ahead and wake up to a bunch of these coins, and then you can go ahead and bank a bunch of those boxes. And this being that it is as quick as it is, you're going to be able to move through it as fast as you possibly can. And any of these modes where you're going to just have to face one boss and then the chapter is done is always good. But I want to head over to Lunatic here. I want to show you guys the difference here, because there really is none, and that's why I am choosing that particular expert story mode difficulty chapter, because if you take a look here, we're doing this on Lunatic. Before we were on expert, remember that, but as you can see, 1 to 2 coins, so there's really no difference. So if you want to make your lives easier, for those of you who just want to do this as quick as possible and be efficient, my recommendation is just to go into one of those types of chapters like I just showed you, and you can go ahead and just grind there. But another thing that you can do right now that is definitely worth noting, and it's always worth noting in story mode, that you can just pick any of the story modes that are going to give you a particular affinity item that you might want. That's always a good option and kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But in the battle card dungeon right now, I think that there is definitely a lot of value to be had if you want to grind on this one, because if we go ahead and we check through here, you're actually going to notice that right now all of the Dead or Alive collaboration cards, as you can see at the bottom there, and then you see the set card there, the option cards, all of these different cards are going to be possible to get from this on a random chance. The odds of you getting them are slim to none, and yes, this does take quite a bit of time to do, but I do want to show you one thing as far as the gains on these coins that you're going to get here, because you do end up getting more coins for doing this, so you do get something out of having to spend the extra time in this dungeon as well as the extra AP. But if we go ahead and auto through these, we'll kind of scroll up. I'm sure we got some here. Yeah, okay, so we got 4 there, 4 there, 5 there, so you're getting 4 or 5 for the power-up card dungeon. And so my recommendation to you guys, honestly, is to probably just do this overnight if you can afford it, because honestly, I think it's worth trying to get the battle cards right now. Even if it is a very low chance, I still think that it is worth doing. So if you're going to overnight right now until the DOA series goes away, I think that we should probably be grinding on the battle card dungeon if possible. But overall, with these boxes this time around, I think this is a really valuable world drop event. I'm very happy with the way that this is situated. Now, of course, you're not always going to get rubies from these things. I'm going to have a few of these, so I'm going to open these up and we'll see what I get. But you're going to probably see here that there's still value to be had. So let's go ahead and do these real quick. We'll just open up all 25. So there you go. Yeah, 40 rubies and then 2 rare enhancement hammers. And I've had to do very little in order to get these. So this is a lot of value, you guys, and that's not even to mention all of these other items here. So my recommendation to all of you is to go through here and to do this as much as humanly possible. Check through and see if there's anything in those different modes that you find to be easier for your particular account and stick with that. But I do think that the battle card dungeon is worth it right now until the Dead or Alive 6 collaboration goes away. Otherwise, those different story mode chapters are probably going to be the most efficient. Now, before we end today's video, I do want to give you guys some miscellaneous tips here just in case you may not realize or had forgotten. But if you go into the Infinite Battle Exchange Shop, which you can still use right now regardless of the fact that Infinite Battle is gone, you can go ahead and exchange your old Infinite Battle coins for an infinite amount of these plus 200 AP elixir bottles. So this is a really good way of getting yourself some AP, and I highly recommend you do so, especially before that shop goes away. And then on a daily basis, if you go into the Soul Dust Exchange Shop, you can pick up this AP here if you scroll down. I know some people didn't even realize that was there the last time I pointed it out, so I figured I would point that out. And of course, there's plenty of ways to get AP in this game. I've made an entire video on that topic. I'm not going to go into all that today, but that's going to be some miscellaneous things for y'all. But let me know in the comment section down below if there's a particular place you want to grind on. Like I said, overnight I do the battle card dungeon just because it takes a lot of time. It is expensive, but it is worth it. Otherwise, story mode is the way to go in my opinion. But let me know in the comment section if there's a particular place you're going to grind. Like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Continue.